This is Talking Trades. Hey, everybody, this is Kris with Talking Trades Podcast, the podcast that explores the world of trades in New England and beyond. I'm your host, Kris Levesque, the man who starts every day with a new horizon. So I'm here with Joyce in Wolfboro, New Hampshire at the craft fair, at the Brewster Academy Craft Fair here in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. So I'm here with Joyce, who is the event organizer. Joyce, can you say hi to everyone?
Hi. It's nice to be on the podcast.
So, can you tell me how long has this event been going on?
Approximately 25 years.
And how much has this grown in the last 25 years?
Quite a bit. There are exhibitors here from all over New England and beyond, and I strive to have a variety of media. So we've got quite a good collection here.
Hey, that's awesome. So did you start this original craft fair?
I did.
And what inspired you to start the craft fair, and how'd you get started?
Oh dear, that's a long story. Basically, I did one craft show. I enjoyed participating in it, and I was looking for a teaching job at the time and couldn't find the one I wanted, and then somehow it just progressed from there.
Can you share a memorable experience that you've had at one of the craft fairs over the year?
Well, this very same venue here, Brewster Academy, we had a microburst come through, and a tree came down. But the wonderful part was it was after the show was over. The show was over at 5 o'clock, and fortunately the tree came down at 5:30.
Oh, jeez.
It was a scary event.
Yeah, I bet. How do you stay connected with all of your vendors?
Well, I've been doing this for 33 years, so they contact me and I contact them. And
So if there was a vendor that wanted to get into this craft fair next year, how would they get a hold of you?
they could go to my website, Joyce's, Joyces, Craft Shows, SHOWS.com, and they could email me.
And what's your email?
It's my name, Joyce, JoyceNDENDEE @gmail.com.
Great. And is this the only craft fair that you put on, or are there others?
There are definitely others. I have 14 this year.
Wow.
It's too many. Every year I say I'm going to cut back, and usually I add one.
Well, Joyce, hey, thanks so much for agreeing to come onto the podcast. And I'm going to walk around and talk to some of your other vendors, and I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yes, great. Thank you so much, Kris.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
All righty, take care. Stay cool.
Thank you.
All right, hey everybody, this is Kris, owner of New Horizon Media Inc., where I start every day with a new horizon, and host of Talking Trades Podcast. So I'm back here with Cam of Zagami Fine Art, one of the booths here at the Wolfboro Brewster Academy Craft Fair shows. Nice to meet you, Cam.
Thanks for having me, Kris. Really appreciate it.
Definitely, man. So what is it that you do here?
So here are my oil paintings. I have canvas prints as well as fine art prints, as well as magnets on a spinning display.
And what inspired you to start this craft and this business? How'd you get started?
So I've always been into art, illustrations growing up. Got more into painting. Really got into oil painting, especially during COVID. And so I started painting, and a lot of trial and error. You know, I'm self-taught, trained by YouTube. You know.
Oh, yep.
So I just continued to do it, and a lot of people, were very well receptive to my art and to a lot of my paintings online. So I decided to, take a chance and do a little gamble. And, this is my second fair here today with Joyce, and just overall, my first one was in Guilford last weekend, and now I'm here in Brewster.
Nice. So can you tell me, how do you come up with your new ideas for your product?
When I look at different subjects to paint, I need to have some sort of connection with it, right? I need to really be drawn to it in some way, shape, or form, or something that makes me say, hey, I want to paint that, So everything you see here today was something that had inspired me. And it's funny because they range all over New England, all the way from Wares Beach to Quincy Market, A little bit of Alton,
Love
a little bit of North End, Newbury Street, and a little bit more modern stuff as well.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some great photos or some great, oil paintings here. And I have to say, like, you're so right with your connection to what it is that you're painting. As a candid photographer myself, right, I used to do a photo walk down in by the Zakum Bridge. And so, like, 8, 9 o'clock at night, right, when the backdrop was right, the bridge was all lit up, perfect backdrop. And we used to do this walk all through Boston. And it was just, beautiful landscape, and it was inspiring and all that stuff. So probably, I definitely understand that as a fellow artist myself.
Mm-hmm.
What materials do you use in your crafts, and why do you choose them?
So I paint oil on canvas. Typically, I will use like a lead oil ground primer or some sort of acrylic gesso to prime the canvas. From there, I typically do an underpainting in like burnt umber. And then from there, I can kind of map out the composition and plan the different shadows and light and everything like that before finally adding more and more coats.
Now, do you take any pictures of any scenery and kind of take a look at it before you start painting?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go, like the one I took of Weir's Beach, actually. I was walking back from a restaurant over that bridge there. So I was actually walking by. I took the picture myself. Sometimes I will put it in like, a Paint or a Photoshop or some sort of program. Maybe mess around with the shadows, the light, something a little bit more to reflect my painting style. And then use that as a reference photo.
Oh, cool. Okay, I see. So I started to do that, and I learned I am a horrible drawer, man. My talent is not in painting and not in drawing. It is just taking photos and videos. So, but through that experience, right? Like I was getting into it, and I was like, how am I gonna, remember the image? And I took a photograph myself, and so anyway, that's such a unique way of keeping it fresh in mind. What has been your most popular item so far? What have people commented on the most?
Oh, a lot of the locals have really enjoyed the Stillwell's painting, as well as Weir's Beach. But if I had to say the most popular painting, probably be the Christmas scene in Quincy Market.
Cool. Awesome. All right, Cam. So if listeners want to get a hold of you, or they want to see your gallery or follow you, where can you be found?
So the website is a work in progress right now. Hoping to have ZagamiFineArt.com. Shouldn't be any problems with that domain, but you can reach me at my email, camzagami@gmail.com. And I also have a little webpage where you can request commissions as well. You can have custom paintings.
So for everyone that's listening, can you spell the last name?
Yep, that's Zagami.
Awesome. Are you on any of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, any of that?
Yep, Instagram is @camzagami.
@camzagami. Perfect. All right, man. Hey, listen, thanks for agreeing to come onto the podcast, and good luck with the rest of the craft show.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, hey, listeners, this is Chris, and we're back with a special episode at the Brewster Academy Craft Fair here in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, going on this weekend, the 12th to the 14th. So I'm standing here with Jackie from the Dogbone LLC, who specializes in all-natural, homemade, grain-free dog treats. How you doing, Jackie?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Thanks for coming on the podcast. So I wanted to ask you, so what inspired you to start this craft with the Dogbone, and how did you get started?
So we had an English bulldog named Tank.
Perfect name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Tank had a lot of skin allergies and issues and whatnot, and I've always been a baker. So I was like, I'm going to make treats for the dog. And it just naturally took off. And our middle son is on the autism spectrum. And I literally said to him, hey, because, I'm that person. I wanted to make them extra special. I also wanted people in my house not to eat them, know that they were dog cookies, so I wanted them in dog bone shapes. So I had Nick help me out with molding them into molds, and that's how we got started.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Can you tell us a little bit about your products here that you offer at the Dogbone?
So everything that we make as far as the dog cookies is a base of organic coconut flour, organic unsweetened applesauce, and then all natural, organic, non-GMO ingredients. So all natural peanut butter, organic pumpkin, organic cinnamon, organic bananas, you name it. The beef and cheese cookies that we make are an organic beef bone broth that I actually make myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, source the bones at a local farm. in Connecticut, because we live in Connecticut. And so yeah, everything is either made by us or
All homemade.
all homemade, sourced locally. Yep.
Awesome. So how do you come up with new ideas for your products?
Oh, usually it's because I need something, or I have a customer that needs something.
That's creating a need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's something that somebody needs, I'm more than happy to do the research, check things out, and see what I can help them with.
Yeah, so before we started recording, listeners, I was actually talking with Jackie about, so one of my dogs has severe separation anxiety to the point where we have to crate her or she will tear apart my house. So I came over, started talking to Jackie about her, about some of her products and some of her natural ways. So, I mean, these are all awesome, just kind of standing here looking at it. So what has been your most popular item so far, and why do you think it resonates with people?
You know, our cookies are amazing, actually. We get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I could eat these. Look, what you do after you leave my booth is none of my business." But you know, they are pretty good. But yeah, no, our cookies are amazing, and the dogs love them, and that's really what keeps us going and spurs us on.
Awesome. What's next for your business? Any exciting plans on new products over on the horizon?
Oh yeah, we have a new fall flavor coming out.
Ooh.
I'm so excited. So we have, we actually partnered with Ben's Sugar Shack, which is now Maple Station out of Temple, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
And so we get their maple syrup. So we are making a sweet potato maple cookie.
Ooh.
Due to come out in the fall.
Due to come out in the fall. What month?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
There's a little bit of regulations and stuff we got to go through. So we
Gotcha.
Once I get the lab testing back, and then we got to get approved through the Department of Agriculture. You know, there's steps.
Gotcha. Process to follow. Cool. Well, Jackie, so if listeners want to check out your products and follow you, where can you be found?
Oh, I can be found on Facebook. I have my own website, Instagram, TikTok, which I don't usually post too often. But everything is under the Dogbone LLC. My website is thedogbonellc.com.
Awesome. Dogbonellc.com. Well, hey, listen, Jackie, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. And, listeners, if you need some natural solutions for something for one of your pets and your fur children, check out thedogbonellc.com. Thanks again, Jackie, for coming on.
Thank you.
And we're back at this special episode here at the Brewster Academy Craft Fair. We're back with this special episode of Talking Trades live in Wolfboro. So we're here with Phil and Melissa from Smoking Tin Roof Specialty Sauce. And my man Phil is here, is wearing a shirt that says, "I put hot sauce on my hot sauce."
That's right. There you go.
So, guys, what inspired you to start Smoking Tin Roof? And how did you get started?
Well, you see, I like to garden, and my husband likes the hot stuff. So I decided maybe one day I would grow some ghost peppers just for the heck of it. And so they grew really well, and he said, "Well, what do we do with ghost peppers?" I said, "Well, naturally, you make hot sauce with it." Boom! There you go. That's how it started.
That's how it started, huh?
Dirty, yeah.
So what was the name behind Smoking Tin Roof?
Well, I used to take and do a lot of smoking in my smoker. So I love to smoke meats and do all of that. And the fact that we just got a metal roof put on our house, which was a nice thing to take and do, which we kind of needed it anyways, but Smoking Tin Roof. That's basically it.
That's cool. That's cool. How do you guys come up with new ideas for your products?
Well, we take and see what there is out there for flavors and stuff like that, because we do base it on flavor than anything else. So we take and see what we can take and do to take and put our own type of spin on it to give it a very unique flavor.
Right. So you had said to me before that, so you bring the flavor first, and then that's when you bring the heat, right? So you're more flavor based. So you guys are more of a specialty sauce more than a hot sauce?
Yes, more than a hot sauce, because that way you get a great flavor that you're adding to your food, because that's what we want to have. And then we just kick it up a little bit with a little bit of ghost pepper powder.
What has been your most popular item, and why do you think it resonates with people?
Well, our most popular one is called Smoky Peppa. I think partly because the name is fun, but also because it's a orangey red colored hot sauce, and it's a more traditional flavor that people think of when they think of hot sauces.
Okay, so I've bought your product before, right? So we've had the Northwood Blueberry sauce, Northwoods, blueberry sauce, which by the way is amazing when you're infusing that into a steak and throwing that on the grill. But I've also gotten the Grow a Pear. And we're not talking about a pear, you know what, we're talking about the pears itself, right? So I was sitting down one night, I was eating some like chicken nuggets or fried chicken something, didn't have my honey mustard, didn't have any barbecue sauce, so I said to my wife, I said, hey, go grab the Grow a Pear, bring that over here. So we put some of that in a little dipping glass, and I gotta say, that is probably the best freaking dipping sauce that I have ever had with my chicken. You got to tell me how you guys came up with that.
Well, I had to come up with something on the fruit base because I wanted to do that because there's really nothing out there that was like that. And we're talking over 6 years ago when we that was one of my originals. So I wanted to try and put that together, and I came up with pears. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to be careful. I don't want to make it too super sweet. And then I added some nice garlic to that, and we added a little bit of cinnamon to it, and like, this is just coming right together just the way we want it, and it's freaking awesome.
Oh, it is freaking awesome.
And it's kind of like the sleeper of the bunch, because some people don't really like a fruit-based hot sauce or fruit to sweeten their stuff. And I'm like, just give it a go, see how you like it. And because it has a little bit of cinnamon in it, it kind of is a little bit of like a Asian-inspired, you could say. It's got that kind of a flavor profile to it.
I never would have guessed there was cinnamon in there.
Yeah, there's cinnamon in there. And of course, if you're going to make a hot sauce made with pears, it has to have a fun name. So,
right.
Yeah, you can thank me for the name Grow a Pear. That was me.
So, share a most memorable experience or a story from your time owning Smokin' Tin Roof.
The comments that we take and get from everybody when they actually try our products, they're like, that's really, really unique. I really like that taste. One of the big ones that I really remember all the time is with our bacon stout mustard. We've had a couple that came up here and tried it, and they said that is a mustard that can contend with any German mustard because we're from Germany.
That's cool.
That's fun. I love it also when people aren't expecting it to be spicy. And we had one woman come up to us and she was like, oh, that's really, really great. And her husband wasn't really paying attention. We were at a craft fair. He's just kind of lost in everything that's going on. She's like, here, try this. She got a spoonful of it and shoved it into his mouth. He was crying. It was so hot. She's like, what did you do to me?
So what's next for Smokin' Tin Roof? Any exciting plans on new products coming up?
We do have another product that we're working on right now. We're in the primary stages of that right now. We're trying to get that honed in on the flavor. I don't know if we really want to say anything about what it is.
Come on, give me something. A little sneak peek. What?
Well, it does have to do with one of the events that we're going to be doing later on this year.
Fall event?
It's a fall event.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
It's going to be at the Garlic Festival. So
Hint, wink, wink.
Hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And people are always asking us if we have any spice mixes or rubs, and we're working on that. It's hard to really hone it in to get it down, dial into exactly what we want for flavors, because heat with rubs can be a little too much, so we have to be careful with that. But we're working on it.
So Garlic Festival, where and when?
That is
September.
October 12th through the 13th, I believe, and it's going to be in Connecticut.
Ooh,
Yes.
Connecticut.
Yeah, a little far away, but hey, we're up for it.
Hey, man, foodies, if you're listening, they'll do the travel. They'll do the traveling. But also, too, right, so if anyone wants to buy your product or check out what you got coming up, you can always go to smokintinroof.com.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's www.smokin, no G, tinroof.com, but if you do put the G, it'll get it to us anyway.
And there's an option there for your customers to be able to buy your product right on the website?
Yes, you can buy right from our website, and we do also have gift packs. You can actually put together your own gift pack. You can pick 2 small bottles and either a jar or a big bottle, or you can do 2 packs, and we ship all around the world. So, yeah.
Excellent. Hey, guys, listen, thanks so much for coming on this impromptu episode of Talking Trades. Good luck with the craft fair, and hey, everyone, if you like putting hot sauce on your hot sauce, go to smokintinroof.com. That's smokin, no G, tinroof.com. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Not to you, to myself.
Listeners, you are listening to the live music of North River Music, an American folk pop. Check them out at northernrivermusic.com. That's northernrivermusic.com. We'll be back. Edward.
Yo,
Hey, you like drinking coffee?
of course I do, brother.
I love
Coffee
drinking
snob.
coffee too. So new to the show, so we just created a buymeacoffee.com account. So listeners can actually go to buymeacoffee.com/talkingtrades
Wow,
and buy us a coffee.
that's amazing.
How awesome is that?
Yes, please, thank you.
And
Yes.
you know, any contribution helps us to keep the show going.
Oh, absolutely. We got some major plans that are not just going to be, I think beneficial to listeners, but also like game-changing stuff. Because like we're trying to do something a little different than what they do on normal podcasts, and you'll guys see as it starts to unfold. But honestly, getting support like that, like buying the coffee, stuff like that, that helps us grow and also helps us
100%.
improve the quality.
And you know what else we can
Absolutely.
do? Whoever buys us a coffee, we can keep track of, and we can give them a shout out.
Ooh, yes. Let's do that.
Who doesn't want to be have a shout out
Oh, for sure.
on a podcast?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. And then maybe if they have like some sort of professional background or a business or something like that, we could pick like a winner of someone who buys us a coffee too to have them on.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be crazy, right?
Right? Send them some swag.
That's what I'm saying. You buy a coffee, next thing you know, you're sitting in front of us.
And so, listeners, if you love the Talking Trades, please go to buymeacoffee.com/talkingtrades. Buy us a coffee. You can make small contributions. You can make large contributions. You can even do a subscription. But all
That's a good point.
proceeds go towards helping Talking Trades keep on providing these podcasts, keep on bringing these stories in, and everybody that we interview.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate
Yes.
your support. And please, again, I'm going to say it one more time. Please go to buymeacoffee.com/talkingtrades. Thank you.
That's good, brother.
All right, listeners, and we're back here at the Wolfboro Craft Fair in Wolfboro, New Hampshire at the Brewster Academy, going on from the 12th to the 14th. I'm here with Brendan Latta of the Merrimack Mud Co., located in Merrimack, New Hampshire. Brendan, thanks for coming on, man.
Hi, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. So I got to ask you, so what inspired you to start your craft business, and how did you get started?
Well, that's a great question. So during the pandemic, I was working in my corporate job in supply chain management, and if you've read anything in the headlines, that was kind of a rough go of it. So I was a little burnt out and looking for a little change of pace. And I looked back, and the last time I was really happy was when I was making art back in high school. And interned with my ceramics teacher at the time over one summer, and he brought me in and showed me how to run a studio professionally, how to run it as a business. So I've sort of leaned on that knowledge, and when I was looking to change directions, this seemed like the best fit. So hopped on Facebook Marketplace, found a wheel in a kiln, and
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, bro, that's so awesome, man. And I got to tell you, so my business, the New Horizon Media, started during COVID as well. I was a social worker for 20 years.
Wow.
Not 20 years. I'm sorry, 13 years. But it felt like 20 years. And so, working at home, down in my basement, working until 6 o'clock at night, not able to separate between work life, home life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was so funny. My son came downstairs at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night and was like, "Dad, when are you gonna stop working?"
Yeah.
And I was like, it is time, line in the sand, man.
Yeah.
So that's when we started, my wife and I, that's when we started New Horizon Media. So another COVID started business. No, I love it. There's a lot of that going on.
Absolutely.
And in one of my episodes called Crown Mindset, right? So we're talking about mindset a whole lot, but we also talk about what happened during COVID.
Sure.
What happened to businesses during COVID? Businesses started, businesses closed, mindset, and all that stuff. So listeners, if you haven't heard that one, go back and check out episode 2, Mindset. Brendan, so can you tell us and the listeners a bit about your unique products that you offer here at your booth?
Absolutely. So I focus on functional handmade pottery. So I throw everything on the potter's wheel, and my core, the core pillar of my business is functional items. So everything that I make has a purpose in one way or another, whether it be mugs, garlic graters, bowls, kimchi fermenters. Everything has a specific spot. So, a lot of things that are made today are meant to be used up and tossed out, or they've got a lifespan. I want to put something into the world that, can last and actually makes people's lives easier.
So, what would you said? Kimchi?
Kimchi, yeah.
Kimchi. Can you tell us what that is?
Sure, yeah. That's a fermented Korean dish. So it's fermented cabbage with some spices, and it's actually this little guy right over here. So the reason that it's specifically for kimchi is there's a little lip indentation on the lip where you fill with water, and that allows CO2 to escape, but it keeps mold and bacteria from getting in. And I've got one of those on my Etsy if you want to take a look.
Oh, heck yeah. That's awesome, man. Let me see here. So how do you come up with new ideas for your products?
So honestly, just like a constant evolution. It's my ADD in action. So when I sit down at the wheel, like I might measure out a bunch of clay, but really what the clay turns into is different every time. But, going to different shows, depending on what time of year, like in the spring, I'll make some bud vases, planters, that sort of stuff. We're coming up on the end of summer now, so I need to start thinking about my fall items like soup crocks and, more cozy, warm weather kind of things. So really just inspired by the seasons.
That's cool, man. What has been your most popular item so far, and why do you think it resonates with people?
Ooh, yeah. I think my most popular item is probably the sponge holder, and I wish I could show you one, but I sold the last one a few minutes ago.
Hey, that's awesome.
But it's just a super simple little kitchen item, and it keeps your sponge from sitting on the counter and getting moldy. It's a nice, little item, so people can throw it in their bag and, walk around with it. It's dishwasher safe, so if it gets gross, you can just toss it in there and clean it. But I like to focus on nice, clean lines, clean aesthetic, and I do them in a nice white glaze that tends to go with every kitchen, so people like that.
Nice. No, I like that. How do you balance creativity with your business side of running your booth?
Ooh, that's a great question. So it's the business side is kind of driving my creativity because I put myself in a position this season where I'm doing shows every single weekend from April to Christmas. So in order to keep things on the shelf, I need to make things.
Right.
And that necessity of keeping things on the shelf has led me to, develop my skills and, branch out, do things that I otherwise wouldn't have done. So really just forcing myself to make stuff.
How do you stay connected with your customers after the craft fair?
So I've got a little board here that I have on my table, and it's got all my social media. It's got my website, Instagram. I live stream my studio on Twitch, and I've got my Etsy here. So Twitch has been my main way because I sit in the same place for 6-10 hours a day. So I just throw up my camera from my old corporate job, and people can chat, ask questions, and whatnot.
That's awesome.
So I have a lot of fun.
So what's your Twitch stream?
Merrimack Mudco.
Merrimack Mudco. Yeah. Oh, definitely have to check that out. What's next for your business? Any exciting plans or new products on the horizon?
So focusing on bigger stuff actually right now. So my bread and butter at the moment is things that are like 2 pounds of clay or less, but I've been working on some monster 15, 30 pound balls. So really just trying to develop that skill set because it's a whole different beast. When you've got a small ball of clay, you can manhandle it and get it to do what you want, but when it's 30 pounds, it's got hands and it can fight back. So yeah, So I've been just trying to work on developing that bigger stuff. I feel like that's my next step.
Cool. So Brendan, if listeners are interested in taking a look at your studio or your products, where can you be found?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on my website or Twitch and Etsy, and everything is Merrimack Mudco. I'm the only one, so I cornered that market.
Nice. Right. Yeah, no, lock that in right away. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, man, so thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate meeting you, and, support for Ukraine, man.
Heck yeah.
All right, stay cool, and thanks again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, listeners, we'll be right back. Don't turn us off. All right, hey, listeners, this is Kris, host of Talking Trades, back here at the Brewster Academy Craft Fair, going on from the 12th to the 14th. And I am here with Mark F. Burns, a local artist out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Mark, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely, man. So I got to ask you, right? So I'm standing here in your booth, right? There's beautiful paintings around me. What inspired you to start painting, and how did you get started?
Well, I was ready to retire, which I did a year ago. So 2 years ago, I thought I'm going to need something to keep me busy. And I happened to pop up a Bob Ross show. And I thought, I watched him as a kid all the time and thought I could try to paint like him. So I finally decided to try it. I bought a kit, I started, and I love it. I love it. I'm like addicted to painting.
I love that, man. You know, I know a couple photographers who I'm really good lifelong friends with who also are inspired by Bob Ross. Will go out and do candid photos. So my really good friend Peter Donovan. Hey, if you're listening, Pete, love you, guy. And so like it's awesome how Bob Ross, like, he inspired so many artists from all different sides of the spectrums, from photography to oil painting to watercolors, all that stuff. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your unique unique paintings that you have here?
Well, I specialize in landscape and seascape only. Not very good with people or animals or things like that, but I do love the mountains, the trees, all of nature, the ocean, the waves. So, and that's of course what Bob did mostly on his shows.
Right.
So again, taking off with what Bob has inspired me to do, sticking with that same theme, and I love it. Yeah, I try to do some paintings that are of local places. Haven't done a lot of them yet. Most of them just come from my imagination. You know, I've never. People ask me, "Have you been to there? Where is that?" I don't know. It just came in my mind, and I decided to paint it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What materials do you use when you come up with your paintings?
Well, I have obviously the canvas that it's on, and they're double prime canvas, which I then again prime. And then in the Bob Ross style, I use a wet on wet technique. So I wet the canvas, what he termed magic white, or magic clear or magic black, that keeps the canvas wet. So it's a wet on wet technique. And I use oil paints that are very thick. So Bob used a very thick oil paint. So, and then a lot of different brushes, big brushes, unusual brushes, something you'd paint your house with, a 2-inch house painting brush. A fan brush, but a knife too. We use a lot of knives in creating the mountains and some of the trees and such. So it's varied, and it just depends what I'm feeling at the time, and I use whatever tools I need to make it happen.
Oh, that's awesome. What has been your most popular item so far, and why do you think it resonates so much with people?
My most popular item has been my Northern Lights paintings. You see 2 of them there. I've done them with more foreground than that, but I would say that I keep making them because they keep selling. Each one of my kids has one, and one has 2 of them. Plus, I've sold many. So the Northern Lights, I do a lot of.
Of course, that's like, natural to the Northern Hemisphere anyway, right?
That's right. Well, we couldn't see them a couple of weeks ago, and they painted those 2 right afterwards. I said, well, if I can't see it from New Hampshire, I'll dream it and paint it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Can you share a memorable experience or story that you've had as your time at a craft fair?
Memorable story.
Or experience.
I just love it all, to be honest with you, and I love the interaction with the people. So I also sell at a store, I don't know if I can do this, but in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the Mall of New Hampshire, there's the craft market, Manchester Craft Market. And there my paintings just sell, and I very rarely, although I have occasionally, met the person that bought them and was able to speak to him. At the craft fairs, it's very interesting to me to talk with the person that likes my art, why they like it, what they don't like. I used to paint all of my paintings and sign in red, just like Bob. And then someone said, I like that painting, but how am I going to get rid of that red signature? So I changed just based on my own, my customers and what they do. And now I basically, if I can, I scratch it in so it's the same color. And so it's not as bold and gets in the way of the beauty of the picture or the painting. So yeah, just learning and talking with the different people and understanding why they like what I do is helpful to me.
No, that's awesome, man. And that's such an important thing, is staying connected to your customers and getting that feedback and finding out why they connect so much with your paintings. And that's funny with some of my photography as well. When I'll post it on social media and stuff like that, but people will like it, and sometimes I'll say, hey, what's your favorite part about this photo? Why do you like it so much? And some of the stories that come back it's interesting.
One more I would share is that I do have 2 paintings that somebody saw them in the store, but she didn't see exactly what she liked. I invited her to my home, which is where my studio is, and she looked at all of them, and she finally picked out 2 that she really liked, and then proceeded to tell me that she didn't want the frame because it would weigh too much, because she shipped them to India. They wanted them in India. So 2 of my paintings are in India, and
That's
I
pretty
kind of feel pretty cool about that.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Your artwork is sitting across the ocean in another country. What's next for your business? Any exciting plans on new paintings over the horizons?
I paint like weekly, and I just literally I go down into my studio and I pull up a canvas, whether it be white or black or what color, and then I just start and I go. I really don't have too many. I do have.
I like it.
I'm going to meet with a guy Monday that wants to commission me to do a painting, so we're going to have to talk about what that's going to be like. My daughter wants me to paint this in a 24 by 36 for her over her mantle.
So we're looking at a painting. It's got some mountains, some landscape.
Somebody told me it looks like the Canadian Rockies. I
Yeah,
said,
kinda
I don't
like.
know. I have never been there. I just painted that from a picture that my daughter gave me because she liked it.
Or kind of like I know Montana doesn't have kind of like pointy peaks or anything like that, but it's almost got like a Black Hills or Dakotas type of a feel to it.
Yeah. And I think too, we visited Arizona in March, and I went to Sedona and I saw the red mountains in Sedona, and I think that'll be another one that'll be next, is to try to redo the picture. I took a lot of photographs, so I'll try to paint the photographs.
So that was going to be one of my other questions. Is do you get some of your inspiration for some of the photos that you take?
Oh, I do. Yeah. I'm working on. I did this lighthouse, but I'm working on other lighthouses because me and the wife have both chased covered bridges and lighthouses over our life, and so I've got a slew of pictures. So I'm hoping to utilize some of those to create some more different type of art.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did a sunrise photo shoot one time at the Nubble Lighthouse in Maine.
Yeah, I've got a Nubble that I did. I've got the rocks, I've got the ocean. Haven't put the lighthouse in it yet.
Gotcha.
Which is unusual because all of these paintings are start to finish. I don't paint again. So they're wet on wet. They take 10 days to dry, 14 sometimes. But it's start to finish. It's one painting that I had to stop and take a breather because I want to make sure that I get the Nubble light right. Yeah, because that's one of my favorite lighthouses.
Well, Mark, I got to say, so as you know, I fly drones, right? I was flying over the craft fair early to get some footage, get some photos and stuff like that. I got to say, one thing that I've always wanted to do was, while I'm flying my drone, is have somebody take a picture or do a painting for me. So one of my passion products is I'm going to do what's called a hyperlapse. And what that is that it's a collection of photos. It's about 100 to 200 photos put together to make like this really cool kind of video looking. And what I wanted to do is commission somebody to paint me flying my drone while I'm doing a hyperlapse. So I'm definitely going to be keeping your card and definitely going to be reaching out to you.
All right, I'll give it a shot. I never say no to anything. I love a challenge.
Now, the only thing is, though, it's going to be at night.
Well, that's okay. I'm not scared of that. I could paint polar bears in the snowstorm. That's easy.
So, Mark, I got to ask you. So, if listeners want to take a look at your gallery or contact you, how can they do so?
Well, I don't have much social media yet. I am on Facebook, just me, Mark Burns. It's not even MFB Studios. But they can also contact me at painting.joy@outlook.com. And we can connect that way and
Awesome.
Share things. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have an online gallery?
I do. Well, I do. It's connected to the Manchester Craft Market. So if you go to the Manchester Craft Market, they have an online presence, and there's, I can't tell you exactly where it is because I'm not looking at it, but there is places where you can go to their online store. And yes, I have about, I would say, 250, almost 250 products out there. Not all original paintings, some prints. That you can look at. Caveat is they all have to be purchased through the store. So it's either store pickup or contact me at that address, painting.joy@outlook.com, and we can work out some arrangements for shipping.
Awesome. And you can ship internationally, right?
Sure, wherever you have to go.
Because you got that painting over in India, right?
That's right. Obviously for a price, though. It costs a lot more to get through customs and all that stuff. So
of course.
We'd have to talk about where it's going and how much it might be to ship it.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. So listeners, definitely check out MFB. That's Mark F. Burns, who's a local artist. Check out his artwork. I got to say, I'm sitting in his booth right now. I'm looking at it, and it's all beautiful. Thank you again. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, listeners, we'll be back. Don't turn us off. All right, and listeners, we are back on this special episode of Talking Trades, coming to you live from Wolfboro, New Hampshire, at the Brewster Academy Craft Fair. So I'm here with Mark Cross of New England Log Furniture, local to Brigantine, Maine. Mark, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for having me.
So I got to ask you, so what inspired you to start Log Crafts, and how did you get started?
So it's a fairly long story, and I'll abbreviate it for you. But oh gosh, over 30 years ago, when I was in high school, my brother actually kind of would be. He likes to brag about being the founder of my company, but he had a picnic table that somebody wanted to have built, and he was going to do a kit. Long story short, he couldn't find the kit. My dad told him to just build one raw. He built one before the end of that summer. He'd built 40 picnic tables.
Oh wow!
The next year, every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Bridgeton, Maine, was building picnic tables. So we branched out into our Adirondack chairs that we had found. My family owned an old sawmill, and we found them in one of the buildings. Called our Uncle Walter chair. That's a whole nother story. The next year, everybody was building Adirondack chairs in town, seeing that we had done so well. My brother moved to Vermont and got tied in with a cedar mill. We started doing things out of northern white cedar, and that's what finally set us apart and started doing that. So, so I did that. I built log homes for a while. My brother and I did that for a while. He moved to Florida, and I decided I did not want to build homes alone, and I didn't want to hire a crew. I talked to my mom one day and said if I could do nothing but build furniture and make a living, I'd be in heaven, and she said, so do it. So about 20 years ago, I ventured off into just doing the log furniture full time, and I have not looked back.
Oh man, that's awesome! What a story! What a story! So how do you come up with new ideas for all of your furniture and all your creations here?
You know what? That's an interesting thing too. You know, sometimes it can, believe it or not, even with my beautiful, unique furniture, it can get boring doing the same thing. There are no two beds the same. It's all logs. No two logs are the same. But you know, when you do 20 beds in a month, it can start to get a little bit monotonous and boring.
Right.
So it's really neat. Like this table that you can see Chris here sitting here, a river table. It's cool to start being able to use my creative mind, and then that way I can actually start to do some creativity. And that one's got the stones poured in the epoxy in it. You can see all the way down through it. It's just really cool. So it's just the more you do it, the more your mind starts traveling. It's just a matter of getting the time to get away from the big orders to do that creative stuff, to do the new stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. I was going to ask you if that was epoxy resin or not. So you do a lot of epoxy resin stuff?
I've been doing a lot of epoxy resin for a lot of years. Of course, when I built the log homes, we used to do a lot of our countertops and kitchens and whatnot with the epoxy. So it's just kind of carried over into the log furniture, and people love the epoxy and they love the river table.
Awesome, man. So what has been your most popular item so far, and why do you think it resonates so much with people?
By far, the most popular product that I do is definitely beds. The log bed frames. I would never do a show without having a log bed frame with me, and then that just ends up going into the whole bedroom set.
Mm-hmm.
We live in an area, Chris, right here, and even in this northern New England area, there are so many second homes, summer homes. People that are coming up here, and that's the look that they're looking for, and that's what. And honestly, probably 80 to 90% of my customer base, it's the second home. It's the second homes people that are buying from me, and that's what they want. Probably after that would be, especially here in this Wolfboro area, would be the Adirondack chairs, the lawn chairs that people want to have on the lakes and whatnot.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, those are definitely a popular item. Definitely see those everywhere. How do you balance creativity with the business side of running your business?
I don't know as I do a whole lot of business side. I don't like doing the business side, let's put it that way. But it's just, I do the business when I have to do the business. I guess that's the simplest way to put it, Chris. I do the business when I have to.
Gotcha. Can you share a memorable experience or a story that you've had at a time at a craft fair?
That I've had at a craft fair.
Or even in your journey.
I mean, actually, it would kind of, a memorable experience that I'd have at a craft fair would probably venture outside of my furniture. I also build fly rods. My first love in life is fly fishing, and I build fly rods in the wintertime when I'm bored, and I sell them for basically what I've got in them or less. And I had one instance, I think it was actually last year, I had a family came in and the son loved fly fishing. The father did not fly fish, nobody else in the family, but the son was just getting into it, and he was probably, I'm going to say 11 or 12 years old.
Wow.
He wanted one of my fly rods. My fly rods, I sell them like Sephora. I have them. They're about $200 to $250, and he was looking at it, and the dad was like, "Yeah, maybe someday when you have the money." And I said, "Well," I said, "why don't you walk around and come back and make me an offer?" And his dad said, "Oh, we can't do that." I said, "You'd be surprised." Well, without even any more, the kid, the son actually said, "I've got $20." And I looked at him and I said, "Sold." And the dad just looked at me and he said, "You can't." I said, "I most certainly can." And the son said, "That's all the money I have." And you know what, Chris, it made it worth it. The fact that, and I didn't end up giving it to him, and I could have, but I think it taught the young man, the child, the kid, a lesson too, that, you know what, he had to actually pay something for something and get it, but he got it. It did me good to be able to do that and to be able to do something really cool like that, because especially to inspire a young one to want to get into what my first love is of fly fishing anyway. So that's actually probably one of the coolest things I've had at a show.
No, that's awesome. What an awesome experience. And I bet you that kid will remember that forever.
Oh, absolutely.
And when he's out there fly fishing with his buddies, he'll be like, "You know how I got this fly fishing?" Or maybe even with his kids, you know, his son. He'll be like, "You know how I got this fly fishing rod?"
Yep.
And he'll tell that story.
Yeah.
So that'll live on through the ages, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how do you stay connected with your customers after a craft fair ends?
So most of my customers, I'm here for my exposure for the most part. I'm probably different from a lot of vendors at a craft show because my product is big. People aren't coming to a craft show necessarily to furnish their house. So I get a lot of people that they take my business card, they get all of my information to be able to find me on my website and whatnot. And they will, I get a lot of people 3-4 years later, they'll contact me. "I saw you 3 or 4 years ago. We weren't ready then, but we're ready to purchase now," which is, it just keeps the ball rolling that way. And I do the same craft shows, the same 8 or 10 craft shows every single year. So you get a group of people, the people know that I'm going to be here, and you'll get people who will finally come in, and they're coming to the show specifically to see me. You know, they've been seeing me for several years, and now they're ready to pull the trigger and they're ready to furnish the house. So,
Oh, man, that's awesome.
yeah. So it's, as I was telling you off the recording here, I really don't do much social media per se for people to follow me, but like I said, I do have my website, and that's how they can keep in touch. So
Awesome. So what's next for New England Log Furniture? Any new products or anything new on the horizon?
I'm actually right now, Chris, I'm really every year I bring different display stuff to the shows, and whatever I bring is kind of what seems to get ordered. I guess that makes sense. Outside of the bedroom sets and that kind of thing. So like last year I had bathroom vanities, a bathroom vanity that I had with me. So I get around a bathroom vanities. So this year I haven't done a lot recently with the river tables. And that's why I've got this beautiful river table here to get orders, and it's working. I'm getting a lot of the river tables. Like I said, I get bored with doing some of the same stuff, and that's something that I can be really creative with. And I like to try to get myself back into the groove of doing that whenever I possibly can. So so right now, like I said, I'm starting to get the orders for that, and it's really cool because, like I said, it just lets me take a step back from the mundane and to just let my, I don't think I'm at all artistic. Other people disagree with me with looking at what I have, but I guess it lets my artistic side, if you will, get going. So
yeah. No, and you know what? I would agree with that. I would agree that this is art. You know, being able to carve a piece of furniture and to see it take shape, and you know, looking across at these Adnock chairs and at that bedroom set that I'm looking at over here. Which, by the way, those logs that are next to that, are those does that come with? Are they attached to that frame?
No.
Are those nightstands?
They can be used as nightstands. They can, as you can see, I've got them scattered around here a little bit too. Like over here with this pub table set, I've got them used a little bit taller as a seat. But the great thing about those log stumps is they can be used as either a nightstand or you can sit on it. You could use it. You can put it somewhere in the house as a seat if you wanted. They're very versatile. They're very popular. I sell a lot of them. It's difficult, or it's not easy to get large diameter cedar like you're seeing here that doesn't have a little bit of pencil rot in the middle of it. So when I go and I get my logs from the mill that I use, I look over some of their big logs and choose the ones that I want, so that I can have some for the customers to be able to have some really good big diameter logs.
Nice, nice. And none of that's reclaimed wood?
No. This is all. Well, actually, that's one of the great things about the bigger logs. No, they could be used at the sawmill to be sawed into boards. My small diameter logs that I use on, like you can see here, on the bar stools and on my beds and whatnot, those logs are too small for a mill to want for anything. And historically, cedar will get cut in the woods, and that small stuff just stays in the woods and gets crunched by the skidders, and the equipment just destroys it. So honestly, by me doing what I'm doing, I'm actually taking a product that would otherwise end up as waste, and it would be used that way. I mean, and going along with that, with me not being waste, I'll also throw out there and mention to people that everything that I build, my whole facility is 100% off-grid and solar powered. So,
heck yeah.
So all of my furniture is built completely off from solar power, and I try to use as much of my materials that I can that would otherwise just be going as waste. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Going green and building while you're going green. So, Mark, listen, if listeners wanted to see your gallery, get a hold of you, where can you be found?
Their best bet is to go to newenglandlogfurniture.com. That is the best place to find me, and my phone number and all of my contact information is there. I do have an Instagram page as well. If they searched for New England Log Furniture with Instagram, they're going to come up with me there. That's probably the best thing for them to do.
All right, awesome, man. Hey, listen, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast. So listeners, definitely check out newenglandlogfurniture.com. I got to say, so sitting here looking at Mark's creations, man, the epoxy resin, the Adnoc chairs, the bedroom furniture, it's beautiful. You're definitely not going to want to miss out. Mark, thanks for coming on the podcast, and stay cool in this heat.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris.
All right, listeners, we'll be back with one more. Don't turn us off.